everyone, today we are going to be doing the Clara Dress by Retro Sparkle Designs. Here is all the pieces laid out, and this is before I iron. So we have a front piece, two back pieces, which would be your main and your liner, and then two skirt pieces, two sleeves, and then your ruffle piece for the front of your bodice and your binding strip. I forgot to mention, but this pattern calls for woven. So here I will be taking the front ruffle piece and prepping it for sewing. You'll take the curved edge of the ruffle piece and fold it over about 1/8 of an inch, and then fold it over on itself again so that way it doesn't fray. And then I take this over to my iron and I will iron it all the way down the ruffle piece. Once that is all ironed, then you will take it to your sewing machine and sew along that edge. Once that is prepped, we will take the two back pieces and lay them on top of each other. So with your lining will be facing right side up and your main will be facing right side down. Then we are only sewing this curved part of the back of the dress. So where I'm clipping right now is the only part that will get sewn right now. And you can use your sewing machine or you can do your serger. I chose to do my serger for this part. Once that is done, we're going to flip it right side out and we are going to give it an iron along that neckline just so it lays flat. With your woven pieces, it's best to be ironing as you sew. Once that is ironed, we will take the main bodice piece and place it right side down on top of the main back piece that is facing right side up, and we're going to sew along the shoulder seams. Next, you will take your front ruffle for your bodice and you're going to gather the straight edge. You can use your method of gathering. I like to use my serger, and this is what it looks like after it's finished. Next, we're going to find the center of the ruffle, and we're going to place the ruffle right side up on the center neckline of the front bodice. So your bodice should be facing right sides up, facing towards you, and then place the ruffle facing towards you, so right side up. And then clip your ruffle all the way until you reach the raw edge of your neckline. You do not need to take your ruffle and place it any further than that raw edge. Next, you will find the middle of your binding piece and you will place that on the middle front bodice, wrong sides together with your ruffle. So your ruffle and your bodice piece will be facing right side up, and then your binding strip will be facing right side down. Then you're going to clip your binding piece all the way around your neckline. So you will take your time in making sure that each piece of your binding is matching up with your ruffle pieces. You will have an overlay of binding, and that will be the straps for the back of the dress. Once that is done, you will sew along this edge. Be sure to catch your ruffle pieces whenever you're serging all the way around. Whenever it's done, it should look like this with one raw edge. Then we're going to serge along the other side, all the way from one side of the binding to the other. When it's done, it should look like this. Next, we are going to fold one side of this binding down about 1/4 of an inch, and then you're going to fold one side of the serged part of the binding down and the other side up, and then fold it onto each other so it creates the binding piece. Then you're going to continue clipping this all the way around. Both parts that you serged will be enclosed in the binding. Once you get to the neckline, make sure you still have the serge seams facing each other and then fold it over onto each other. All of the serge seams on your binding will be enclosed once you are finished with this step. Once you get to the end, do the same thing. Fold it down about 1/4 of an inch and then fold the other pieces on top of it. Once that is done, you're going to sew all along the edge all the way through the binding. Don't forget to backstitch. Next, we are going to work on gathering the sleeves. I made 2 little chalk lines where I'm going to be gathering, and you can find those notches on the pattern. So I'm just finding the center of my sleeve after it's been gathered, and I'm going to place that right side down onto my shoulder seam. And my main fabric is facing right sides up, so they are right sides together. Then you're going to pin it all the way down to the armpit. Then you're going to repeat these steps for the other side, and once they are both pinned, you can sew them together. The final step to our bodice is pinning the sides at the armpits and sewing down the sides on each side to create the bodice. Next, we are going to take our 2 skirt pieces and lay one right side up and take the other piece and lay it right side down, and we are going to sew along both sides. Next, we are going to gather the top of the skirt to fit the width of the bodice. Once that is gathered, you will take your bodice piece and flip it right side out and stick it inside of your skirt with your skirt still wrong sides out. Then we are going to find the side seams and match them up on both sides. Once you have your side seams matched up and clipped, then you're going to clip all the way around your skirt and your bodice, adjusting the ruffles as you go. Once that is all clipped, we will sew along the skirt edge. Next, we will start on the sleeves, and this is just for hemming. So you can do your preferred method of hemming for the sleeves and the bottom of the skirt. For this one, I am going to fold over about 1/8 of an inch and then fold over again so that it does not fray. Then I'm going to clip all the way around the sleeve, and I'm going to repeat the same process for the other sleeve as well as for the skirt. So this is the bottom of the skirt. I'm going to fold up about 1/8 of an inch and then fold up about 1/2 an inch, just so that those edges are tucked away inside of your hem. Then once you have that done, you are finished. If you have any other questions, be sure to ask in the Retro Sparkle Designs Facebook group. They are very helpful there.